Hello, welcome to our webinar about revolution in working time planning with our solution SNP eTime. Our expert today is Michał Rogowski. Michał will show you our solution. My name is Aleksandra Borucka. I am the moderator of today's session. Firstly, some information about the organization. We've planned about 45-60 minutes for this event. If you have any questions to our expert, please use the chat window you have on your right-hand side in this navigation panel. I will collect all your questions and our expert will answer them via email shortly after the webinar. Now, short introduction about our company for those of you who don't know us yet. SNP Poland is a leader in the Polish SAP market with 430 specialists and over 25 years of experience. Our key competences are SAP implementations, SAP managed services, security and software development. And now regarding our expertise in the area of HR, we have also 25 years of experience in implementing and developing IT solutions for HR with a team of over 40 people, experts. We implement a wide scope of HR functions from personal administration, payroll, working time management, and so on. We have also a team that supports our customers using HR and sub-HR and success factors. Over 40 customers we are supporting. Solutions we implement and we have expertise in are SAP HR, success factors. We are partners since 9 years. And we have also our proprietary solutions. One of them is presented today, SNP eTime. We have also the Office, a platform for employee and managers self-service, and SNP ECM for HR files. And that would be all from my side. Let me now switch to our expert, who will show you our solution.
All right. Hello, everybody. My name is Michał Rogowski. I work at SNP Poland as an SAP HR consultant, and it is my utmost pleasure to greet you all today. And I will walk you through a short presentation from my part, and then I will move to the live demo part of our application. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So SNP eTime is a revolution in working time planning. SNP eTime is a web application that allows managers to plan the time of their subordinate employees, taking into account their availability and preferences in accordance with legal and company regulations. Thanks to SNP eTime, managers receive a new comfortable tool for planning and setting employees' time. And thanks to automation, SNP eTime allows to shorten the preparation of teamwork schedules even to a few minutes, and I will walk you through that while we're gonna go through the live demo presentation. SNP eTime integrates with any HR and payroll systems, as Ola mentioned before, including SAP HR and HCM, SuccessFactors, Theta HR, Oracle, HRMS, and others. SNP eTime can also work with any external.
Yes. How can I interrupt you? We are seeing all the time your first slide.
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Sure. An SNP eTime is designed for people. It's supposed to be intuitive and very user-friendly, and its goal is to assist people with who are responsible for scheduling with regulations of the labor code. Real-time workforce data. Information in SNP eTime updates live, so whenever we work on it, everything is updated live. Preferences for employees. Employees can enter their work preferences, which allows superiors to build a schedule more conveniently, taking into account needs of their employees. When it comes to mobility, you can securely access eTime anywhere in the world as long as you have internet connection. And workload without HR's engagement. secondments, automatic cost allocations, automatic transfer of permissions, all of the things I just mentioned can be done by the manager without HR's engagement. Some advantages of Ascenta eTimes are, as I mentioned before, you can see those on the left, and Ascenta eTime is integrated with SAP HR and SuccessFactors, integrates with all clock in and clock out machines. And we also support SMS and email notifications. So whenever there is a change in schedule or something has to be done with the schedule, we can inform either employees or managers with an SMS or email notification. We also support predefined reports and dashboards. Whichever reports are needed by our clients, we can adjust their needs and create a special report for them. Ascenta eTime is extremely helpful when work plans are created for a large group of employees. We can support all types of industries by responding to the most crucial needs of companies and challenges they face. And Ascenta eTime is obviously available 24/7 with all requirements and restrictions of the labor code in a given country. Some of our clients that are currently using Ascenta eTime are such known, renowned companies as Raben, LPP, Dr. Schneider, or Sokol. All right, this should be enough for my short presentation. Here, I will have to apologize for a second to not show my screen. I need to start the demo presentation. I will be back with you very shortly, as I need to start the demo. Okay, everything is set. Okay, Ola, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. So this is the starting screen of Ascenta eTime. Whenever a manager or an employee logs into eTime, this is the screen they see. All data here is obviously created by me and it's fake. So, and this is our demo system. I am logged in as a manager, Joanna, the top right-hand corner, and the whole main screen is divided into 5 units over here. To the left-hand side, we see the menu divided by tabs, and I will walk you all through these tabs as we progress with the presentation. The top left-hand side of the main screen is the main calendar, which is set to default to the month that we are currently having, so June. We can see all the days in this month, where the Saturdays and Sundays are grayed out and marked as days off, and the work schedule is obviously with the green background, and underneath the word work, we have our hours planned. Special holidays are selected with green background with red letters, like you can see here. Top right-hand side corner are something that we call notifications. Those notifications are grouped into 2 different units. The first group are the green group, like this one. Those notifications are used by the managers or are given to the managers to inform them about certain situations. For example, here, the manager has received an information to plan next month's working time for employees' production. Those notifications are only informative, and if we click this button right here, this notification will just disappear because we already informed about the action that we need to perform. Whereas the red ones that we see here at the bottom are notifications that are required by the manager to perform certain actions. For example, approve attendance due to a plan gap, or approve attendance because there is no clock in or clock out for respective employee on this given day. Had I clicked this button right now, it would transfer me to the respective tab in which I can resolve this issue. Those notifications are obviously custom made, and we can do any type of notifications we want. And those notifications, as I mentioned before, are supported by SMS and email notifications. They can be used both or either or, and sent to both managers and employees if need be. At the bottom, we have 3 different columns. The column to the right is the absence column. Those are the employees that are supposed to be at work because they were scheduled for today at the lifetime that we're having, so at 11 a.m., but they did not show for work for some reason, or they didn't clock in for work. The middle column are currently working column. Those are the employees that are scheduled for today and are currently at work. So they probably clocked in and are currently working. My production team is fairly small, which you're going to see in a second when I show my employees, because I'm the manager of 5 to 6 people, but we can support any size of teams. And the last column here to the left is the vacation requests column. This column gives the manager information if any of his subordinates filed a vacation request. As we can see, we already have one request here. I can click anywhere here on this rectangle, and I will be transferred to the tab, which is here to the left, the Vacations tab. We can actually do this right now. If I click here, Ascenta time will transfer me to Vacations tab. I will hide all of these rows. And here we have 4 different rows and pieces of information for the manager. The first 2 rows are rows that inform us something about ourselves, so about the person that are logged in. If Ascenta time is also allowed for the employees, they would only see these 2 rows. The first one is the leave request, my absence quotas, which includes my personal number, name, my function, position, and how many days of vacation I have still left to request for. We have this button right here, which shows us our current balance, and if I turn it off, it would show me unused leave balance. So if any days for holidays are left from the previous year. As we can see, I have none. In order to file a request for vacation, we just need to click this button right here. And this would open a new tab, a tab that we need to fulfill all the information that would then be used as a workflow to go to my superiors to accept or reject my vacation request. First, we need to decide what type of leave we would like to request for. If I click here, we have all different types of leaves. This is all again configurable. And we have annual leaves, on request leaves, special leaves, and whatnot. Let's check out special leave, for example, because this gives us different options. In the Polish labor code, we see different type of reasons for special leaves. They're all input into the system and are written here. So for example, if I wanted to file a vacation request for special leave for my child's birth, for example, it also suggests me that the number of days I can take for that is 2. So if I select from the 17th till 18th, everything is fine. If I select it from 17th to 22nd, then the application blocks me from requesting this leave. Here at the bottom, it's grayed out, because this is too many days for my leave. I will change now the leave for the annual leave, so it's again enabled. And another great functionality of eTime is something that we call proxy eTime, which you can see here. When it comes to proxy, I can select any type of employees or maybe some other managers that are in the system. Let's select Alexander. When I select this employee and I would file the request now, it would go to my manager, and let's say my manager accepts the leave. On these days that I have requested for, maybe it's a short period of time, only 4 days. If I would make it a little bit longer, for 10 days, Alexander would receive all of the permissions that I hold in eTime, meaning that on those days when I will be absent on my leave, he will be responsible for assessing the working time of my employees. So he would be able to input overtime, input absences, accept or reject holiday leaves, and whatnot. This small calendar here at the bottom shows us the information if those employees are not going to be on their leaves at those days. So let's say if Alexander had a leave for exactly the amount of days I want to file my holiday for, we would see huge red crosses here everywhere on those days. So this would inform us that maybe he's not the good person to proxy him during my leave, because he will be absent as well and he will not be able to assess working time of my employees. And when everything is correct, we can just request the leave and it would transfer to my superiors. Right. The second row is the row that holds historically all of my requests for holidays that I have input into the system with the regard of days that are selected here. By default, they're set to the current year. And we see the end date, the leave type, what was the status of that request, what was the change, and who is it assigned to. We see only numbers here because I have no superior in our demo. Here, those 2 buttons to the right, this one would show us the detailed leave request that I wanted to to send that was in the past. And to the right, the most right button is the request history. So this shows us all of the workload that has been made during the leave. So it was approved, it was awaiting approval, and in the end it was rejected. The final two rows here are the rows that inform managers and gives information about their team. So team, absence quotas, sick note registrations. This shows us the whole team with the amount of days that they have for their holiday requests if need be. So the manager can easily see and maintain the number of holidays that his employees can still request for. And the last row here is the employee request. So this is the request that we saw at the starting screen at the beginning. This is the request from Pavel. He wants his holiday from 12th to 16th July. It's an annual leave type and is awaiting approval since 1 day. At this time was sent to me. And I can accept it from here, or I can click verify, because maybe I want to put some employees that will be able to substitute him during his leave if I already had my schedule prepared previously. So I can select, for example, this employee for these 2 days and this employee for these 3 days. If I accept it now, those employees would receive notifications either by email or SMS that they have been set for substitution on those particular days because another employee is going on a holiday. I can obviously reject it, accept, or go back if I still didn't make my mind. When it comes to vacation, we also have a vacation schedule. I go here now. This is how it looks like. At the top, we have the months from May till August. By 4, we can obviously scroll them to different months. In the middle, we see selected employee right now. So this is me, the manager, and I can approve my annual plan. I can generate a report, or I can just plan still some of my vacation by these simple tools. I can select multiple employees at once. And if I want to plan my vacation, I can either just simply click on a date like this, and then the plan was added just for this 1 day. If I made a mistake, I can click again, so the plan would be deleted, but this would take some time to click on all of those days. So we have this small option here. If I open the picker, I can select in July, let's say from 5th to 9th. As you can see, it's all blue to show us which days I'm selecting from 5th to 9th. Okay, this is when I want to plan this period, so it's going to be these 5 days here. If I click plan this period, plan was added for those 5 days, and it has been successfully planned as a vacation schedule. If I made a mistake, I can still delete the plan, and it's going to be deleted just like that. Okay. Now I'm going to walk you through all of the tabs from the left-hand side that I mentioned before, up until we're going to hit the shifts planning tab, which is essential in eTime, which helps us to create all the schedules for our employees. But first, I'm going to walk you quickly through those short tabs right here. So firstly, my work tab. My work tab is also available for employees when it comes to eTime. This work tab informs us about all of the hours that I have planned, about absences, night hours, overtime, used accrued overtime, and anything that we want to configure in this field. Again, this is only for the person who is currently logged in, so only for me. It's set by default to this month, but if we want to see different periods, we can click settlement period, which is on the demo set for yearly, so it changes to these big numbers. And if we want to see some non-standard dates, we can select date from to, and then pick whatever we want. Another sub-tab in my work tab is timesheet. Timesheet, the left calendar, is the same as the calendar that we saw at the start screen. And to the right, we see a divided month by days, activities, so when is work or maybe holiday or a day off, and the starting times and end times of our time. And here at the top, we can see the sum hours during the whole month for this particular employee. So in this case, for us. The absences sub-tab is divided into 2 different tables. The top table right here is the table that collectively shows all of the types of leaves that were used, like an annual leave, on request leave, and so on. So if any of those were used, they would be shown here. And the bottom table shows us, again, the same leaves. However, the difference is that it shows us only from days, so from 18th to 19th. So one particular leave that was here, we can see them historically. We can download them to PDF and Excel, which I'm going to show in a second. The next tab is Employees tab. The Employees tab shows us all of our employees. I am aware that I have only a few of the employees, but if I had, for example, 50 or 100 employees, it would be a little bit problematic to find somebody fast. So we have, for example, sorting options. We can sort by ascending, descending, or any type of object that we decide to put on at the top of the tables right here. Or we can just filter them. If we open the filter menu, we can filter by objects. So let's say I want to find Alexander because that's what I'm looking for. I select him and he's the only person that's going to pop up. There is also one hidden option here that is not visible at the very right side, but we have these green buttons to the left here. If I click on the button here with my left mouse click, I'm going to be transferred to my work tab of that particular employee that I have selected. This helps the managers to see all of the working times that if we want to see of that particular employee. If, for example, an employee tells us that something's wrong. We can also access his timesheet right here. So we can see he still hasn't planned these days, but we will plan those shortly, and his absences if need be. Right. Next tab is called Team Timesheet. Team Timesheet is divided into two subtabs. One is weekly and one is monthly. The weekly timesheet shows us the current week that we're currently having, but obviously we can scroll through any other weeks, and we see from Monday till Sunday, the days of the week, the hours planned for the employees. Saturday is off and Sundays are also off, and the total amount of hours. And as we can see here that this employee has had an on-request leave on Tuesday 15. So this is visible here. But if we don't want to see that, we can use the filters at the top. I can tick off absences and this would just disappear. You probably also noticed that there's almost on every tab, there is an option to download files to either PDF or Excel. If I click on download to PDF, it's going to download all the information that are currently visible on my screen. So it would look pretty much the same as we saw it before. The same would go for the CSV file. I'm just going to show you that as well. Okay. And it would look like that. We can even see here that on request leave for that one particular employee. Okay. When it comes to monthly tab, it's a little bit more compact because there's a lot of different information and the view is big. This is the only place where we cannot download it to PDF. To the left-hand side, we see all of the employees here. And at the top, we see all the days coming from the first day of the month. And if I scroll to the right, it's going to be to the end of the month. Then I also am going to see my work hours, any absences, if there were any, secondments, which I'm going to talk shortly about, and some of the hours in the given month. The red squares that you can see here are Sundays or holidays. So it just helps to see when the week finishes. All right, statistics. Statistics tab is pretty much the same as my work tab, with this difference that we can see ourselves here because we are in the team, as well as all of our employees. So it's a cumulative tab of all the working hours that are in eTime. And it works essentially the same as my work. When it comes to absences, it's again the same as absences in my work tab, with that difference that we see all of the employees here, and we see their cumulative leaves that are here at the top, and at the bottom more detailed singular leaves that are here. All right, so now we're going to go to the clue of the whole presentation and the most useful tools that we have in eTime, which is shifts planning. This is the view for the shifts planning. It's by default set to weekly view, but we can obviously change it to either a day view, which would look like that, or a monthly view, which would look like that. So we have the first week here with all the shifts, the second week, the third week, the fourth and fifth are not planned yet because we're going to do that in a second. Okay, I'm going to go back to the weekly view because I think it's the most visible one. It's easy to navigate through this option here. So what do I see here? I see 5 shifts from Monday to Friday. Those shifts are of the production team, so my team. The positions, the workers that are there are assembly operators. That shift is from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. It takes 8 hours. And 4/4 means that I have 4 employees that are filled on the shift out of 4 required ones. And then here I see all of the employees that I want to see. Okay, let's delete this one shift. If I use my right mouse button, I have different options. I can either remove the shift, I can decrease the filling of the shift, or I can edit the people who are assigned to the shift. I can either delete them or replace them. But we're going to remove the shift because I want to create a singular shift. This tool is used to manually create shifts. It's rarely used because we usually use managed time groups, which is the most useful tool that eTime has, that we can plan even for a year for our team just within a couple of minutes, which we're going to go through in a second. But if I want to create a singular shift, this is the place where I do it. I just need to click anywhere in the calendar and the shift creation tab opens. Our organizational unit is the production team, so this is correct. For the 18th, that is also correct. I need to select which type of employees I would like to have. So I want to have assembly operators. I want to have 4 of them on this shift, and I want them to start at 8 a.m. and I want them to finish at 4 p.m. So this is 8 hours. And since I have 4 employees that I want to work here, 4 times 8 is 32 hours, summing up the total. If I would like to, I can also use Cyclicity here. If I click cyclically to date, I can select either every week, every month, or every day, and then select the end date that I want this shift to end copying to. We can enter comments, but they're optional. So this is correct. I want to create this shift. And the system created the shift. As you noticed, the shift is of the color blue. It means that this shift is totally empty. There is nobody placed to that shift. So we have 0 employees out of 4 available. If I want to add any of the employees right now, I can use my left mouse button to access the editorial of the shift. On the left-hand side, we see all the shift information that we created just a second ago. Here we see if any of the staff is on the shift. We have no data because there's nobody here. And to the right, we see the employees that are available to work on this shift. So I'm going to select Alexander and I need to click fill. He will be transferred from options to the people who are staff. If I click accept now, that shift should change its color from blue to yellow. It is yellow because the shift is not fully staffed. It's 1 out of 4. We still need 3 more employees to fully staff the shift. Those colors are essential for the managers because when we have big teams of 50 to 100 people and different shifts, it's more easy to see which shifts are not fully staffed or are not staffed at all. Then we can just click on them and decide which employees do we want to have. However, it would be tiresome for the managers to click on the shift and decide which particular employee has to be there. So we have an automatic process of filling shifts. There's this right button here at the very bottom. If I click it right now, the system will validate which employees are available to work at that time. So it assesses if they can work 8 hours on this particular day. And it added those people for us. So it added three employees to fill the shift fully. And this is all correct. If we didn't have enough employees, we would receive a notification from the system that these employees are, this shift is not filled with employees. So we need to think of something else. Those shifts here also support drag and drop. So I can just click on the shift and move it 1 hour later, and it's going to move and transfer to that shift. It takes this much time because it checks again all the validations regarding to the labor code. All right, so we have this shift, but let's say we want to copy this shift. We like how this week looks like, and we want it to be also on the following week. We just click copy shifts. We get the information that shifts are copied. I'm going to move to the following week now, starting from the 21st of June. This week is totally empty, as we can see. I can now paste all those shifts And those shifts are going to be pasted, but they're going to be empty in order to prevent eTime from validating all of the employees, because maybe we want to make any changes for the shifts. All right. We also can remove all the shifts from this screen that we want. If I click remove, we can remove all of the shifts, and shifts have been deleted. One final option here at this screen is regular shift creation. This option is used for employees that work non-standard. So like for a singular employee, let's say I want, again, Alexander to work from the beginning of this week till the end of this week, so till the 25th of June. And I want him to work from Monday to Friday. So we select it's a regular shift, Saturdays and Sundays are off, and I'm not going to change this from 8 to 4. But obviously I can change whatever hours I would like to. If everything is correct and I click accept, the system should create shifts for this week with this particular employee already staffed in. And so it did. So again, this option is used for a singular employee that we want to work. Maybe he works non-standard hours, not within the shift. Maybe he comes a little bit early to open or stays half an hour longer to close. And this is a useful tool to use. I'm going to remove these shifts again, because we're going to move to manage time groups, where we're going to create all of the shifts for the upcoming months together. Okay. So manage time groups. This is the most useful tool of eTime that we are very proud of, and this helps us to create time groups and create schedules for employees for a longer period of time very, very fast. So as we can see, we have no time groups here. At the bottom right hand corner, we have add a new time group. I'm going to click it right now, and I need to name the time group. So I'm going to name it for today's presentation. Add new time. So our group was created. We can rename it, which we don't need. We're not going to delete it right now. We need to assign employees to this group, and we also need to manage the rules of their schedule, so how they are going to go to work for it. My personal preference is I always start with the rules, but it doesn't make any difference. Do I start with employees or rules? But I'm going to go to rules first. Rules management window. We don't have any rules set yet, so we need to click here to the bottom right corner to add new rule. When I click this, a rule creation window appears. So first of all, I need to decide which type of rule I want my team to work for. Do they work every week on the same hours, or maybe they work as a 3-shift system? So let's create the 3-shift system, because it's probably the most popular and complicated to create for people who are responsible for scheduling. So we have 1, 2, 3. So they start with the first shift, then the second, and the night shift to finish the last. The start date, I want it to start from the following week. So I select Monday, 21st of June. And end date, we can select anything we want here, but let's just click it until the end of August. So for 2.5 months, we're going to create this schedule. I'm going to come back to these options in a second. And here we need to decide which working time system we want them to work for. Is it a flexible, or maybe home office, or maybe something else? But it's going to be basic, so I'm going to tick off those 2 options. So I will have just the options I need right here to select for the hours. Important notice is that this number, it does not correspond to Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, although in this case, it's going to correspond to it at the very beginning, but this is the first day of the rule. So first, second, third, and so on days of the rule. So we know they're going to work for 5 days, and the 6th and 7th day are going to be off because they're going to be Saturdays. So I just click days off here. And here, I want them to work, as I said previously, on the first shift. So I just look for 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. I can select it like this, or I can just type in 066, and it's going to show me those hours. Okay, so the first week is done. Now what I need to do is I need to do an add a day to the rule. So I need to click here 7 times to add 7 days to the week, and I have done that successfully. So I can see the 8th day of the rule, which is going to be the following Monday of the following week. I know the 13th and 14th days of the rule are going to be against Saturday and Sunday, so I tick them as days off. And here again, for the hours of the rule, I'm going to select from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. because I want them to work on the second shift during that time. So we have 2 weeks already planned, and I need to click this again 7 times to have 21 days. So my rule, my cycle is finished. 20th day and 21st days are going to be days off. And here I want them to work on the night shift. So I just click 22 as 22, so 10 p.m. Till 6 a.m. Very well. I'm just going to double check if I didn't make any mistakes. So from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. and here from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. and from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. All right. So my cycle is done. Obviously, this is the 3-week cycle, but I want it to end at the end of August. So it's going to take these cycles like about 5 times. All right. So I saved the rule. The rule has been successfully saved. The starting date, the end date. I can still obviously edit it if I want to. I confirm. The final thing that I need to do is I need to assign employees to that rule. If I click assign employees, I have no employees here. It would also show me the past employees and the employees that are going to start on this rule in the future, but I have nobody here yet. Here at the top right hand corner, we see add employees. If I click this, the system is going to tell me which employees are available to be added to this time group. If I had different time groups, there would be employees that would be marked with the red cross here, and I would know that I cannot add them because they are already in a different time group. Okay, so I want all 4 of them to work there. I want them to start on the 17th, start the rule, although the rule starts on the 21st, it doesn't make any difference. And if I wanted them to work a little bit shorter in this time group, maybe they were transferred for a month, for example, I can click unlimited here to tick it off and then decide which date I want them to work until. But I want them to work until the end of the rule. So this is all done. Now I click add employees, and this is the process that takes the longest e-time, because now e-time has to validate all of the labor code regulations, meaning maybe some of the employees have some sort of disability and they cannot work longer than 7 hours during a workday, or it checks if the rule is created properly and every day has an 11-hour break in between the rules. So this validation takes time because it has to assess for all of the employees on all particular days. Obviously, I have only 4 employees here and it's not going to take that much time. But if we have more of them, it takes a little bit longer than this. Okay, so all of my employees were added and it all should work fine. But now we need to check if this works all right. So we're going to go back to shifts planning screen. And we already have the week from June 21st to 27th. So the first week of our rule. And as you can see, our group called webinar, our time group called webinar, has been successfully created for the whole week. And as you probably noticed, this color is a little bit more darker. If I go back to this week, we see that this is a light green and our time group is dark green. This is because we are unable to drag and drop these rules. If I wanted to move them, I would receive a notification, cannot modify a time group. This is all correct because we wanted it to be at this particular time. We don't want to change that of any time. If we wanted to, we can still go and edit the group, or I can manually edit times of employees later in this tab right here, which I'm going to show in a second. But let's check if everything's correct. So this week is the first shift. If I go to the next week, I should have the second shift, which is from 2 to 10 p.m. This is correct. If I go to next week, I should have the night shift. And it is. This is how we show night shifts. They are split into 2 because we have the whole day here and it finishes at midnight. So 10 p.m. starts here and then it's being transferred to the morning over here. And it finishes at 6 a.m. And this is fine. So now my rule came to an end, but it should cycle for next week. So if I move to the next week right now to July 12th, I should have again the first shift here. And I have it. So from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. and so on and so forth. So as you can see, I have successfully created a time group for my team for 2.5 months, and it took me about 10 minutes. Obviously, if I have more employees, it would take me a little bit longer, but it still takes just a couple of minutes to create everything and then add it. And then the system does everything for us. If there are any issues with labor code, we would receive back notifications that we can edit and change that. Okay. Attendance approval. Attendance approval is the screen that helps manager to assess working time of its employees. This is the screen that helps the manager to see what's going on a particular day. It is a daily view, so we see only one day, so June 17th today. This is the time from midnight till 11:59 right over here. and the violet square that you see here is the time that is currently on. So we have 11:41, so this is lit up. Here to the left, we see all of my employees, including myself. And actually, for a second, I can show you another option. Here at the bottom left-hand side, we have changed data range. Data range is selected and divided by positions of my employees. So my production team has only 2 positions, which is myself, production manager, and assembly operators. But if we had, for example, 100 employees, and they would be divided into 10 different positions of 10 people, we would have 10 options here. And we could filter through them if we didn't want to see some particular employees at the moment. So I can just click, for example, here on the production manager. If I click anywhere else on the app, it would reload and I would disappear from here. So it would only show the employees that I want to see, as we can see right now. So as I said before, those are the employees. And to the right-hand side in the middle, you can see their plans. Their scheduled plan is marked with yellow color to the left. So from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. If something is green, like this one, it means that his working time has already been accepted with this button to the bottom left here. We also have an algorithm. Oh, 1 second. Actually, first I need to say that the pink one are the clock ins and clock outs. So this is the time frame that the employee appeared for work. Obviously, it's not 4:30 p.m., but I did this for the purpose of the presentation. So this employee showed for work at 7:30 and he left at 4:30 p.m. So the algorithm that I mentioned just a second ago is this special tool that we created when the time frame overlaps and corresponds with the plan. So the employee came before work, before the scheduled work, and left after the scheduled work, then the system would automatically accept his working time, which decreases the amount of work that the manager would have to do. In an ideal world, obviously, manager wouldn't have any problems and didn't have to do anything. But as we know, employees do not always show up. Sometimes they lose their clock-in times, or maybe there are some other different reasons they do not show for work. So this is the screen where the manager needs to see that. So let's say, for example, this employee, she didn't show for work. As we can see, there's only the plan and there is no time frame for her showing. So we want to enter absence for her because we don't know what happened. So we just select her, and then here at the bottom we have enter absence button. If I click it, I receive the enter absence screen, and I need to decide what type of absence do I want. We have all types of absences which are configurable, but let's say I want to say unexcused unpaid leave for this particular day, for all day. And I click accept. Absence was registered. Then as soon as this disappears, we see that her plan has been automatically accepted, but that's due to the fact that she has unexcused unpaid leave. Obviously, let's say she went to the doctor and her doctor's notice didn't come in yet. This would be overwritten in SAP to show here. This is also the window, the tab, attendance approval tab, that we can enter overtime for our employees. Let's say I want to enter overtime for Alexander. I select him, I click enter overtime. The system automatically suggests the time after his schedule. So from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m., let's make it a little bit longer. Let's give him 2 hours. And I need to provide a justification for this overtime. So let's say that he was closed. And I click accept. Overtime has been registered and it is shown here. As you can see. This is also the place where we can add or delete plan for the particular employees. Let's say we knew that he didn't show up, or maybe this was a mistake. I can just select him and click delete employee, and his plan would be not shown anymore. I can obviously add this as well. And the last option here is attendance machine readings. This is an option that shows us exact times of the entry of the employee on the facility to the company when he or she came. So if I click Alexander and I click attendance machine readings, I see that he showed up at 7:26 and 45 seconds and he left at this time. Also at the top, to ease the manager with assessing working time of his employees, we have filters. So we can deselect absences, and then this employee should disappear, and unplanned employees would also disappear. And then I don't have any delegated employees, so it doesn't change anything, but I can also click show unapproved working time, which is probably the filter that is used most by the managers at the companies that use Ascenta eTime, because this only shows the employees that have not yet had their working time accepted, and obviously it doesn't show all of the rest. So it's a little bit easier for the manager to see which employees he still needs to assess. All right. The next tab is the secondments tab. This is the second last tab. We're shortly coming to an end of this presentation. The secondments tab is the tab where we delegate our employees to a different unit, to a different team on whichever date we want to. So let's say I want to delegate Alexander. It's my favorite employee. When I see this employee here, I have this button to the right, the delegate option. If I click the delegate option, I can select the dates I want him to delegate from and to. I want him to be delegated on the second week of September, for example. I'm not selecting any dates before that because we already planned the time group until the end of August, and it wouldn't accept it because he's already planned for those days, so he cannot be delegated. So we have this week for support, and we need to select the manager. If I click accept now, we see this option right here that he is being delegated. Obviously, I delegate him to myself. That's why I can accept or reject this delegation because I have no other superior or other manager that I can transfer him to on the demo. But this is how it looks like. This starts the workflow operation, meaning the respective manager that I would want to transfer this employee to would receive this notification on those particular days. Had he accepted them, then he would be in charge of that particular employee on the dates we have selected. So he would be responsible for adding absences, adding overtime, maybe accepting any vacation requests, whichever we want. It also transfers those employees to a different cost center, and then the charge of the salaries would go from that cost center to that employee. All right. And the last option that I want to show you are the reports. As I said before, reports are predefined, but we can adjust to any needs of our employees, of our clients that we want to. We have all different types of reports here. Let's see, for example, time evaluation messages displayed. If I click this and I select which report I want to, I can select the start dates of the periods that I want. Let's say we want to check maybe any reports from April. I'm going to select from the beginning to the end of April. Had I not selected any dates here, it would show the report from the whole year of the whole planning year that we already have. So that would be probably a lot. And here I can select any personal numbers that I want. So any type of information, maybe work contract or employment status of the employees that I want. But I'm not going to put anything here because I want to see the report for all of my employees in my team. And then I just click execute. And this is the report that I received. So we can see that, for example, my favorite employee was not at work on the 15th of April, and he was also at work, although an off day on the same day. So there's probably something weird with his plan, so we would have to check what is wrong. All right, this is everything regarding e-time. So I would like to thank you very much for the presentation, and I think Ola would like to say a couple of words as well now.
Thank you, Michał, for your presentation. Thank you for your attendance, for your questions. I will pass all your questions to Michał, who will answer them shortly, and we will send you answers via email. And bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.